Hi guys, Debbie here with Debbie Stamping Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I want to take the opportunity to show you a little bit more about our Merriest Moments bundle. Get that out. Our Merriest Moments bundle is a bundle in the holiday July to December 2021 catalog. And what makes this so unique is it is a hybrid embossing folder in here. So when you buy the bundle, you get the stamp set, the hybrid embossing folder, and the die cuts. And I had done a video a couple of weeks ago showing you different ways of using it, but today I want to show you actually how it's done. So I had showed you that if you run strictly the embossing folder through, you get the embossed card front. And here's a card that I did with just the embossing folder, and that's a beautiful card and can be done all by itself. If you do the embossing folder with the die cut in it and run that through, you get this piece. It's embossed and it's die cut, and that can be added to the front of a card to make a card front. And here was a card that we had done with that. We used actually sponge daubers and daubed on that, and that's just attached to the front of the card. Now if you want to go one step further, once you run this through the embossing folder with the die cut, you can then take your piece and run it through with the intricate die cut, and it will get you all the details. See how it removes the space between the leaves and gives you just a lot more detail. So then that can be added to your card front. And here was a card that I had done with that. You can see it's layered on top of some gold, and it makes for a very pretty card front. So today, that's what we're going to do, is we are going to once again run all of the cards through, and this is the card that we're going to make. So to get started, let me get a few things out of the way here. There's a lot included in here. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we're going to be starting with our card base, which is real red, cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and scored at 4 1/4 to give us our standard card size of 5.5 by 4 1/4. And we're going to take this and we are going to run it through without the die cut, just the embossing folder. Get it in there so it's kind of straight, because we're going to use it as our card front. So let me get the plates, and when you get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it tells you right on the front what you need. If you're using thin dies, a standard embossing folder, or the 3D embossing folder, which this would be. So we need number 1, which is this piece right here, and number 4. All of these plates come with the machine when you purchase it. Whoops, and now I've messed my card front up again. So we are going to just run the embossing folder with our card base through our machine. And that's the front of the card. Okay? It's a little off, but that's okay. I think we can adjust the rest of it to go with it. Next, we are going to take a piece of our white. When you're putting the die in, it always goes on the front section where the Stampin' Up! Logo is. And once you get it in, you'll feel it doesn't move anymore. It catches in there, so you don't have to keep going. Let me grab a piece of Whisper White because I don't have a piece out here. Okay, we're going to cut a piece of Whisper White. I'll just cut it at so we have it to go in here. Okay, let me get back under the camera and show you here. We've got this lined up here. Now we're going to put our piece of white on here, and we're going to run it through again with our number 1 and our number 4. Crank it through. Now when we take this out, we have this beautiful piece that could be a card front, and we're going to layer that in a minute. But now we've got one more to do here, and that is our green foil. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the white. We are going to put our piece in there. Put our green foil over the top of that, close it up, and run it through. Okay, and here's what we get when we take this out. Now we've got a piece of green foil that's just like our white. Now we're going to put these pieces up for a minute, and we're going to bring out our intricate die piece. And we're going to line this piece up on here. But now we need different pieces for our cutter because we are using a thin die. So we need pieces 1, 2, and both of the 3s. And we're going to lay this down on here. We line these pieces up and put our second piece of 3 on there. And we're going to run it back through. And you can see now when we take this out, here is the outline, and all the little detail comes out between the leaves and the flowers around. Okay, we have one more piece to cut, and then we can get this machine out of the way and we can put our card together. And that piece is going to be the piece that goes on the inside for our greeting. So we'll get, whoops, and I dropped my die. Good thing it's right there. Okay. I usually try to do all this die cutting ahead of time, but I really wanted you to see how easy this is. And there are so many different ways that you can do this that it's just such a unique bundle that until you see how it's done, it's really hard to understand. So let me get these pieces back out of the way. I love this about our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It folds up so it doesn't take up as much room on your counter. You can set it out of the way when you're not using it. So, okay. Let's get our pieces all in here. We started with our red card base and we embossed the front of it. We then cut out the white piece that's going to fit right there. We then took it one step further and cut out our green piece, which fits right on top of the white piece, just with more detail. And then we cut out the center piece to go on that. So now let's put our card together so you can see how this is all done. And you can see if I line it up exactly, because my base was a little crooked, it doesn't have to match exactly. We can go ahead and turn this a little so that it looks straight on the front of the card. And the background, it just gives us a little bit of detail back there. So let's stamp this first. And we're doing this with our real red ink. And we're using a Joyful Christmas to You and Yours stamp from the stamp set. When you get the bundle, you get the stamp set, you get the dies, and the embossing folder. So it's quite a nice bundle to get. And there's so many different ways, so many different cards you can make using this bundle. So, all right. Now, let's go ahead and start putting it together. When I put this together, I didn't put a lot of adhesive all over. What I did was I used adhesive on the center portion. So, a little trouble getting my, let me get a different one. There we go. Now, like I said, we want to make this straight on the front of the card. So let's go ahead and do that. And then you can flip this over and smush it. Now we're going to take the green and we're going to do the same thing. Just in the center. And we're going to line this up so that it's all lined up. Again, you can turn it over to smush it. Now to add this greeting to the center, I'm going to use some dimensionals to make it pop even more than it's already going to be popped. I just love how this all goes together, and you can do it as simple as you want if you want to just do the one layer, or you can do multiple layers like we're doing today to give it even more dimension. It is such a unique system to have all of this. Okay, we're going to pop that on there. Now I'm going to take a few of our holiday rhinestones, and since I have the red ink and the red background, I did just a few green. Let's put one here. We're doing it a little different, but that's all right. Just makes it a little different each time. Usually at Christmas, when we're making cards, we tend to make more throughout the year. If you're making somebody's birthday card or something, it's usually one card, but when you're doing Christmas cards, we tend to make more. So you can do each one a little bit different. Okay, now for the inside of this card, we need a piece of, let me see, 5 1/4 by 4. And that's just going to give us a layer. It'll just be a layer on the inside so we have a place to write. Christmas time tends to be a time when you get caught up with people, so you need a place to write a message. And even though you could write on the red, white just gives you a little extra. Don't forget to finish the back of your card with a stamped for you or handmade for you, any stamp. Just make sure you stamp on the back so that there's a little something there, and then you can always put your initials and the year that you did the card. So there's the card for today. Isn't that beautiful? It's shiny and you've got all these different layers with all the different detail. Makes for a beautiful Christmas card. So I hope you enjoyed the card. If you have any questions about this system, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer them for you. If I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer. And remember, if you haven't subscribed below, click the subscribe button, and next to it's a bell. You can click on the bell and choose to be notified when I have videos go live. Don't forget to place your order. Online orders of $50 or more using my monthly host code gets a thank you card along with a special gift from me, usually some embellishments. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Catch you next time.